Sunset of the Empire, and it's an ongoing release.
Why did
because what I wanted to do was, a lot of those albums you can't find anymore. We've allowed them to just basically disappear, and what's coming out now in the lineup for, as I said, my retirement in 2018 is creating, the definitive releases, which has taken, the best live performances that I've assessed and that I know, a lot together with some, interesting demos that kind of show the construction of the songs, plus, the remastered albums and the entire package is like remastered by Callum Malcolm, who's been working with me for quite a few years, but who was more involved with 13 Star and Feast of Consequences, that was seen as being kind of like a resurgence in my career, and it's interesting to see the reviews in prog rock and classic rock on these remasters, because people are rediscovering them. I mean, they kind of got lost. I mean, in 1993, when I did the Songs for the Mirror album, which was the covers album, I think a lot of fans kind of questioned what the hell I was doing. And I think there was a lot of people just lost contact with me, especially when I went out with the Yin and Yang Best Of tour, which was about over 2 years on the road. And I basically disappeared. So when I came back, a lot of people didn't know those albums existed, and I didn't have the finances at the time for loads of reasons that you can read in the booklets. I mean, every one of the booklets in the remasters is like 48 pages, and I think I'm writing about 4,000 words. I mean, it's basically like a mini book, which is all about kind of what the songs are about, what was happening at the time, what influenced, the circumstances or during the recording. So, as I said, they're kind of definitive, so that, these are, there's not going to be any more kind of versions of this. These are the definitive versions. And as I said, Sunsets and Empire, Rain Gods With Zippos, and Fellini Days are out at the moment. Field of Crows should be out in the next couple of months. And then I'm looking at the Vigil in the Wilderness of Mirrors album, my first solo album, which I've got licensed back from EMI. Eternal Exile and Songs from Mirror, the Polydor albums, and Suits, which was the first album in Dick Brothers in 94. And, it's interesting to go back and look at these songs because, just because you're not in the charts, just because you're not selling, hundreds of thousands of albums, doesn't mean you're making relevant material. And it's interesting to see. I mean, I was talking with a German interviewer just the other day, and he was saying, he didn't even realize, these albums, and sonically, they sound absolutely brilliant. Callum Malcolm has done a fantastic job in it. And Mark Wilkinson and I, work very closely on the packaging because, I mean, when it comes down to it, again, my fan base and the people that in the main follow me are of that generation, very much like yourself, where they were brought up with, gatefold albums, and they were brought up with artwork, and they were brought up with tangible things that they can handle while they listen to the music. It's not a download generation that's really the basis of my fan base.
No, I
downloads on iTunes and things, but it's the packaging, and that's something that the pirates can't do. That's something you can't get on a download. That's something, special. It's extra, and it gives it more weight. It gives it more gravitas, and it's appreciated.
They are beautiful. They are beautiful works of art. Beautiful package.
Thank you.
You got the lyrics, you got the artwork, you got photographs in there, and as you said, there's about 48 page book in each one, which is, it's quite interesting because it sort of does give you an insight into A, the time you were recording, and B, what was going on, and your thoughts as you were recording the album.
I think it's important. I think it's because the way I write in a very autobiographical, very personal fashion. That's always been my style. And again, to go back to Misplaced Childhood, I think it was a crucial album in my lyrical development. I mean, I think, Script and Fugazi, there was elements that were a little bit flowery. I was struggling to find myself, but I think on Misplaced Childhood I settled into it, and I think that's again why, I wanted to play the album as a whole, because it's a very personal album and it's an important album to me. It was a period in my life development and as well as my career development. And, that's a style that it's always come through. And I think, when, with these new remasters and all the writing on them, it's important for people to kind of see what was going on at the time. And they get a better grasp of kind of where the songs were born, And it's interesting to see, I mean, when you listen to, like, for example, Fellini Days, and, you listen to Pilgrim's Address, and Pilgrim's Address is a song about the military after my experiences in Bosnia playing to the UN and British troops out there. And songs like Perception of Johnny Plunter or of Sunsets and Empire, they're very lyrically relevant today, you know?
Just another nigger, a spooky piece of white trash. Just another Jew boy, speak Mick, yip, raghead motherfucker, living on the planet just before it kicks in. Yourself in the mirror and tell me that it's worth it. Said it'll never happen. Said you'd never get caught out. You settled in a hydrant, so now you're Mr. Fix-It. Just another alien living on the planet. Living on the planet. It's just one of those days when you know that something's gonna happen. Another betrayal. Lose another friend. You know you never need them on your own until the bitter ends. Just another pickup. Just another direction. You just can't find the will to get up and go through with it all. Your next allotted 24-hour slice of destiny. It's just a bad vibe, and rather than a world of opportunities, it's full of threats and just too many negative variables. I noticed these houses way up in the hill, and I tried to imagine what it would have been like living up there, isolated from the world. Every night watching the fires crawl slowly down the valley, and knowing that one night it was going to be your turn for the visit. I try and imagine what it would have been like hiding in a cellar with your family in the fear, hoping that when they do come, when the dogs don't bark and the silence is around you, you hope that they burn the whole house around your ears and they don't discover you hiding in the cellar because you've got nowhere to go. And you know that one day that something is going to happen. There's one day, just one day. Just another village, burning in the hills. I saw it on the TV. Just another thrill. Someone else's problems, someone else's grief, someone else's children, living on the planet. We are in another world, living on the planet. We are in another world, living on the planet. We are. It's just one of those places that never exist till you've been there. We are. It's just one of those things that you never will see till you wake up. We are. You know that somewhere there's somebody that's out there who thinks like you do. We are in another world, and today is the day that it's all gonna happen for you. We are in another
You're listening to the Sticks Radio Show with me, Terry Sullivan, and my guest today, Fish, just heard from Sunset of the Empire. That's The Perception of Johnny Punter, and let's rejoin Fish for the third and final time. You mentioned you'd like to do some more acting. Is there a particular role or part you'd love to do?
I'd love to play a part of an aging rock star that's like trying to, to come to terms with modern life and trying to, survive.
Is that
That's one of the screenplays I'm planning on writing. I think I'm gonna have to write my own screenplay so I can get a decent role. So.
You don't fancy doing a soap or a
No.
drama or something like that? Or
No.
No, not at all?
I like character actors,
Yeah.
I mean, I like the kind of stuff that Robert Duvall does and things, and and I'm of that age now where my knees are such that I will not be playing an action role.
No, because I mean, you've done a few. Things. You did Finley Price in Quite Ugly One Morning, and then you played Old Nick, a camp homosexual in the film 9 Dead Gay Guys, which I think the Teeth organised them in. And that, I must admit, I don't know that one, but it sounds great fun. So
it was a fun movie to make. It was very tongue-in-cheek. It was great.
Great fun.
Director Lab Chemo was a lot of fun to work with. But, I've done some other bits and pieces. I mean, I did Chasing the Deer was the first movie with Brian Blessed way back.
Oh, there's a gentleman.
And then I did The Jacket, right?
Yeah. With
The Jacket, and I was